Boxing is one of the most brutal combat sports on the planet. For decades, we have been captivated by this bloodthirsty sport. Over centuries, the martial art of boxing has evolved into one of the most popular sports in the world. Only a small percentage of individuals will ever step foot into a ring and fight in hand-to-hand combat. These few warriors put their lives on the line every time, knowing the consequences can be fatal. In today's video, we are going to look at the history of boxing from the interpretation of the greatest rounds, from some of the best fights to ever exist. These breathtaking fights had a huge impact on the history of boxing. These are legendary fights that captivated an audience of millions from around the world, which had us gripped and left us forever wanting more. If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe. Here on Boxing Battles, we take you for a blast in the past and reminisce about some of boxing's greatest moments. November 13, 1992, undefeated WBA, WBC, and IBF undisputed heavyweight world champion Evander Holyfield, 30, from the United States, made his fourth world title defense against Big Daddy, Riddick Bowe. Up to this point, Holyfield had an unblemished record, winning 28 fights, 20 by way of knockout.
Down goes Rodriguez, out of nowhere. Adelson Rodriguez is on the canvas.
He's not getting up. He hit his head on the canvas, and he's not getting up.
He's double check. And there he goes into the ropes. Holyfield looks to finish him off. Richard steps in, and Doak's coming towards us. He's down. He's out. He's out. It's over.
Exactly 2 years and 19 days earlier, at the age of 28, world #1 contender Holyfield fought Buster Douglas in the first defense of the title. Douglas won 18 months earlier in defeating Mike Tyson in one of the biggest upsets in boxing history.
For the first time in his career, Mike Tyson hits the canvas. Buster Douglas is the new heavyweight champion of the world.
Holyfield defeated an out-of-shape Douglas by knocking him out in the third round.
It was a twisting right, and down went Douglas. There's a new heavyweight champion of the world, and his name is Evander Holyfield.
Evander Holyfield's first title defense was against Big George Foreman, the former champion who was attempting a comeback and becoming the oldest heavyweight champion ever. After winning a unanimous decision, Holyfield signed to fight the baddest man on the planet, Mike Tyson, on November 8, 1991. But Tyson pulled out with an injury. Instead, Holyfield took a journeyman, Bert Cooper, and suffered his first career knockdown, nearly falling to defeat before rallying to knock out the lightly regarded contender in a fight the WBA refused to sanction as a title fight. The Tyson fight was then scuttled altogether after Tyson was convicted of rape and incarcerated in early 1992. With Holyfield in need of an opponent, undefeated Riddick Bowe emerged as the front-runner to end the next shot at Holyfield's undisputed championship. Holyfield's manager Shelley Finkel and Bowe's manager Rock Newman were nearly able to get a deal done shortly after Tyson's conviction, but it fell apart after the two sides could not agree on financial issues. Eventually, Bowe landed a #1 contendership match with Pierre Coetzer, which he won in the 7th round by technical knockout, earning the right to challenge Holyfield for his undisputed heavyweight championship. In what would become one of the greatest heavyweight boxing matches of all time, Bowe defeated Holyfield by unanimous decision, winning all three judges' scorecards by scores of 117 to 110, 117 to 110, and 115 to 112.
The new king has been crowned.
Though he had been a 7-5 favorite, Holyfield had difficulty trading punches with the bigger, stronger, and younger Bowe. Bowe landed 53% of his 248 thrown punches, while Holyfield only managed to land 39% of his 161 thrown. The fight is perhaps best known for its round 10. As round 10 began, this was the second time Bo had ever gone this far in a professional prize fight. Bo started the round strong, landing a good combination on Holyfield. As Bo continued to press, he stunned the champion with a vicious uppercut.
Big uppercut by Riddick Bowe. Holyfield is all over the ring.
Holyfield showed plenty of heart as he struggled to stay on his feet, but somehow managed to hang in there. Bo continued to throw a barrage of punches, going down to the body as referee Joe Cortez kept a close eye on the fight and Holyfield managed to weather the storm. Evander showed incredible powers of recovery just as he did when he came back from the knockdown against Burt Cooper. Holyfield struggled to see because of all of the damage he had taken earlier on in the fight. He went back to the right-hand lead as it was the only weapon that had been consistently good throughout the fight. Holyfield showed his warrior spirit as he reversed the tide of the battle, wobbling Bo with a huge right hand, leaving everyone at the Thomas and Mack Center on their feet. In the last 30 seconds of the round, both men continued to trade punches, both showing courageous courage and determination.
He lands a straight right hand.
As the bell rang, they continued to swing punches before showing each other respect and returning to their corners, leaving the fans mesmerized with one of the greatest boxing rounds in history, never to be forgotten. June 27, 1988, undisputed heavyweight champion Iron Mike Tyson took on the People's Champion, Michael Spinks. Tyson, 21, from the United States, had an unbelievable record of 34 wins, 30 coming by way of knockout, and Spinks, 31, also from the United States, had a very respectable record of 31 wins, 21 coming by way of knockout. Up to this point, both fighters were undefeated, and each had a claim to being the legitimate heavyweight champion.
Spinks may be arm-weary, but Cooney can't stop him. And Cappuccino's going to stop it.
This is bad. Hope Joe Cortez takes a look into the eyes. There he gets nailed with the left hand, the right hand, digs to the body, goes to throw a right hand, gets clipped with a big right hand. He won't get up from this one. It's all over.
At the time, Tyson held the belts of all three of the major sanctioning organizations, WBA, WBC, and IBF, while Spinks was the Ring and Boxing Illustrated magazine champion. The fight was held at the Convention Hall, Atlantic City, New Jersey. It was at the time the richest fight in boxing history, grossing $70 million, of which Tyson earned a record purse of around $22 million and Spinks $13.5 million. Tyson had won HBO's Heavyweight World Series, which saw all three major sanctioning bodies cooperate with HBO and Don King Productions to stage a tournament that would produce an undisputed world heavyweight champion. Over the course of 18 months, Tyson took the WBC title from Trevor Berbick, the WBA title from James Bone Crusher Smith, and the IBF title from Tony Tucker, and became the first fighter to be regarded as undisputed champion since Leon Spinks in 1978.
Champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson. About fighting Michael Spinks yourself, whether it's next time or 2 years from now.
I fight whoever my manager wants me to fight, I'm just a fighter.
However, while Tyson was the sanctioning body's champion, he had not garnered universal recognition as champion. Spinks had entered the tournament as the IBF champion, a title he had held since defeating Larry Holmes in 1985. He competed in 2 bouts in the tournament and won them both, a disputed 15-round decision in a rematch with Holmes and a knockout over Stephen Tankstead.
Richard Steele asked Stephen Tankstead how he felt, and Tankstead said, "That's enough."
This had set up a match between Spinks and Tucker, the IBF's top contender, but Spinks began negotiating to fight Jerry Cooney instead of Tucker, and the IBF responded by stripping Spinks, taking him out of the tournament.
And championship belts are stripped.
Despite this, Spinks was still recognized by the ring as its world champion, and was also still considered to be the lineal champion. Minutes before the fighters were due to enter the ring, there was a commotion in Tyson's dressing room when Butch Lewis noticed a bump in Tyson's gloves and demanded his hands be re-wrapped. The commotion continued with Lewis insistent that he would not let the fight start until the bump was smoothed out. The matter was only resolved when Spinks' trainer Eddie Futch was called in, and he accepted that Tyson's gloves were fine, though he was trying to protect his fighter's interests. Lewis later admitted that he had also seen a chance to pull a little psyche on Tyson. Instead, Tyson had just been angered by the delay. When Lewis had left and Tyson once again prepared to leave his dressing room, he told his trainer Kevin Rooney, "You know, I'm gonna hurt this guy." And a man of his word, he brutally knocked out Spinks in 1 minute 31 seconds of the first round. As round 1 began, Tyson attacked Spinks from the opening bell, landing a solid left hook in the first 10 seconds and forcing Spinks to cover up, with Tyson showing no fear and no respect at all. Spinks clinched and was driven back to the ropes by another Tyson attack. He moved off the ropes, but Tyson trapped him again. A left uppercut and a right hand to the body forced Spinks to take a knee after a minute. This was the second time Spinks had been knocked down in his professional career since Braxton during the 8th round of their 1983 encounter.
That's another slip. That's a half slip. Still, it's ruled. Let's see. Hazard is a knockdown, and Spinks is saying, "What are you talking about?"
As the two men moved towards each other, Tyson turned away from a Spinks right hand and responded with a left-right combination to the head, which put Spinks down again. This time he was unable to rise, and referee Frank Cappuccino counted him out.
Not going to make it. It's all over.
The fight was over after 91 seconds. Presently the 6th shortest heavyweight title fight in history. Just 10 punches were landed, 8 by Tyson, 2 by Spinks, and is regarded as one of the greatest rounds in boxing history that will never be forgotten. October 30th, 1974, the heavy-hitting and defeated and undisputed heavyweight champion George Foreman, 25, from the United States, who had a perfect record of 40 fights, 36 of those wins coming by way of knockout, made his 4th world title defense against the charismatic and popular figure, Muhammad Ali, 32, also from the United States. Billed as the Rumble in the Jungle, the fight took place at the 20th of May Stadium in Kinshasa, Zaire. The fight was watched by a record-estimated television audience of 1 billion viewers worldwide, about a quarter of the world's 4 billion population in 1974, and has been called arguably the greatest sporting event of the 20th century. In 1967, then champion Ali was stripped of his title and suspended from boxing for 3 years for his refusal to comply with the draft and enter the U.S. Army. In 1970, he first regained a boxing license and promptly fought comeback fights against Jerry Quarry and Oscar Bonavena in an attempt to regain the heavyweight championship from the then undefeated champion, Joe Frazier, in a bout dubbed the fight of the century. Frazier won a unanimous decision, leaving Ali fighting other contenders for years in an attempt at a new title shot.
Ellis is reeling. He looks defenseless on the ropes. The referee may be deciding whether he's going to stop the fight. He is stopping the fight.
Ali having a little difficulty understanding the referee there. He's got to stop this. He's broken him up. He's giving him a mandatory 8 count. He's slumped on his knees there.
After defeating Joe Frazier by unanimous decision in their highly anticipated rematch, Ali was finally given his title shot.
The winner by unanimous decision is Muhammad Ali.
Meanwhile, the heavily muscled Foreman, who had big shoulders and small forearms, had quickly risen from a gold medal victory at the 1968 Olympics to the top ranks of the heavyweight division. Greatly feared for his punching power, size, and sheer physical dominance, Foreman was nonetheless underestimated by Frazier and his promoters, and knocked the champion down 6 times in 2 rounds before the bout was stopped.
Frazier is ready to go again. Joe is standing. There he goes. 3 times. 3 times. The fight is stopped.
He further solidified his hold over the heavyweight division by demolishing Ken Norton in 2 rounds, the only man besides Frazier at the time to defeat Ali.
Legs are rubbery as the left hand goes to the side of his head. A right uppercut, a left jab, and a vicious left sends Norton crumbling to the canvas.
At 25 years old, the younger and stronger Foreman seemed an overwhelming favorite against the well-worn 32-year-old Ali. The fight was a major upset, with Ali coming in as a 41 underdog against the big, unbeaten, heavy-hitting Foreman. And to everyone's surprise, Ali beat the defending champion by knocking him out in the 8th round to reclaim the world heavyweight boxing title. The fight will always be best known for its round 8. As round 8 began, Muhammad Ali knew he had everything under control. Ali had been winking from the corner, signaling everything was going to plan. Foreman's punching and defense became ineffective, as the strain of throwing so many shots finally took its toll. Ali began to work to the head of Foreman, bouncing his head back with a crisp left jab. A weary Foreman wildly missed with a big left hook and almost fell out of the ring. The heat and humidity was extremely high in the auditorium and seemed to be taking its toll on both fighters, but at the age of 32, Ali still managed to have a bounce in his step and was still in control of the fight. An exhausted Foreman continued to throw punch after punch, but Ali managed to hang in there, protecting his face from the fruitless shots. Maybe this was a tactic from Ali to let the fatigued Foreman punch himself out. With 30 seconds remaining in the round, Ali sprung into action, landing a sneaky right hand that seemed to trouble Foreman. Ali then unleashed a beautiful combination, dropping Foreman to the canvas. As the referee began his count, Foreman slowly got back to his feet, but could barely stand. The referee had seen enough and stopped the fight 2 minutes and 58 seconds into round 8 by way of knockout. Muhammad Ali had regained his titles, and for the second time was the new heavyweight champion of the world. The fight showed that Ali was capable of taking a punch and highlighted his tactical genius, changing his fighting style by adopting the rope-a-dope instead of his former style that emphasized movement to counter his opponent, proving to everyone who doubted him that he truly was the greatest. Foreman remained in his corner and looked bemused to what had just happened. Meanwhile, the packed crowd erupted into jubilation, and still to this day, remains one of the greatest rounds in boxing history that will never be forgotten.
This is an incredible scene. The place is going wild.
Muhammad Ali has won by a knockdown. By a knockdown.
If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any new episodes about boxing's greatest moments. Thanks for watching.